Hello, everyone. Welcome. There we go. Welcome to office hours for the Homes for LA NOFA. These are names I recognize from seeing questions that have come through already. So it's nice to see you, I guess, virtually, your faces at least. We have until 5 o'clock to have questions asked and hopefully answered. Questions that aren't answered, we are doing our best to get answers to them through our website and get them published. So that's our process. I am Hannah, for those of you who don't know me. It's nice to see you. What I like to do is I'm going to go call people's names, have you introduce yourself, share your name, and share which buckets you're applying for, and then I'm gonna go through my screen. I try and go clockwise based on cameras on people who don't have their cameras on, not to disadvantage you, but you end up getting shuffled to the bottom. And then I give everyone an opportunity to ask one question, and then we try and go around as many times as we can. So I'm gonna start with Matt Mason, who's in my upper left-hand corner, and then I'll just call names from there.
Hi, Matt Mason, Bode Communities. I am applying for a alt model preservation project. And do you want me to ask my question now, or are we doing intros
No,
first?
just a
Oh,
quick
okay.
round of intros, and then I'm gonna come back to you in a little bit. Okay, thank you. Alex Lee.
Hi, Alex Lee from LA Family Housing, alt models, new construction, and I should be joined by Trust South LA in a little bit.
Cool. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Layla Shakery.
Hi, Layla Chakran. I'm here with Praxis Development, and I'll defer to Casey Keys, who I'm here with, to speak on what they're applying for.
Okay, thanks. Monica Mejia.
Hi, Monica Mejia with the East LA Community Corporation.
Nice to meet you. Casey, whose emails I've also gotten. Nice to see you in person.
Keys Praxis Development Group, we are applying for alt models new construction.
Okay, thanks. Will Sager. I already know you, but
Hi, Hannah. Hi, everybody. Will Sager, Link Housing Corporation. We are applying for the alt models new construction, the ULA multifamily, possibly the pooled sources, and some operating assistance projects.
a lot of them. Thanks. Stephen Clark.
Stephen Clark, AmCal, we are applying for pooled sources, ULA multifamily, ULA alt models.
Nice. Thank you. Caroline Calderon.
Hi, this is Caroline from the Little Tokyo Service Center. We're applying for alt models, new construction, operating assistance, and alt models preservation.
Great. And there's another Alex Lee on here that's not the same as the other Alex Lee. So I don't know.
Oh, that could either be the Trust. Oh, okay.
Hi, sorry, Alex sent me the link. I'm Gustavo Almarosa with LAFH Builds, and same as Alex, alt models, new construction.
Great. Thank you. I don't think I missed anyone. Sorry if I did, but we do have limited time, so I'm going to get going. So again, the process is I do my best to give everyone an opportunity to ask one question, and then we'll get through as many rounds as possible. So starting back from the beginning, Matt, what is your question?
Hi. So I was in the last office hours too, and I posed a question about the same funding source, the alt models preservation. So we have a project that's in our portfolio, not a transaction. And my previous question was whether we needed an appraisal as part of this application. And I received a definitive yes. And the reason for the appraisal was to provide some level of backing to the loan that we would be requesting as part of this application. So my question is, to what extent is the funding request, again, this is the model that will fund up to 100% of total development costs. So what is the control related to the property value, the existing property value, in relation to the amount that you can request as part of this application? Is it 100% loan to value? Is it not necessarily directly related to value, which I would hope it wouldn't be, because these are projects that by their definition are not cash flowing well and therefore will appraise, poorly. And that's why they need the funding. So I'm hoping that there's not a direct correlation between appraised value and the amount of the loan that LAHD is willing to lend under this program.
Yeah, so this is not a loan to value evaluation like the other preservation, the 30% for pooled sources is. This is we're going to be underwriting it based on what you saw that we published on our website for underwriting guidelines under the preservation section. If you didn't see that, happy to send it to you. We are not, the intention is not, we understand these projects are not cash flowing and that they might not have as much value, and then therefore they wouldn't be able to have a higher loan. That's not what we're doing here with this particular program. So it's not a hard and fast loan to value, to answer your question. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. It sort of brings me back to why the appraisal is required then, I guess. But
not going to answer that question right now in this forum, but we can talk about it. And I think it would be useful, since this is our first round, if you wanted to provide a comment, like, here's why I don't think that this should be required, and give us, like, we're trying to be open to feedback so that in the next round, like, we can make adjustments. But we have a little bit tighter requirements this round, just because it's our first round and we don't want to, be flexible in that way. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay, thanks, Anna.
Okay. Alex Lee.
Sorry, can't find my mouse. So LA Family Housing recently created a new entity to house the real estate development arm. It's called LFH Builds. And so while we do have pipeline and sponsor experience with LA Family Housing, Builds is a relatively new entity. So I guess we're kind of wondering who the applicant should be, who the sponsor should be.
I know where you're going with this because we're underwriting the sponsors. So this question was actually asked, I think, in another set of Q&A. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 or 3. The question that was asked was, hey, we're a new organization, but we have a lot of experience. Can we, how do we write that? And basically what we answer in that set of questions, and I think you should go back and look at it, is like, apply as LA Family Builds, but note all of the different experience and who's on the team and the projects that LA Family Housing has done that are similar to projects that we're asking for in our NOFA in your REO. But just note who, what the ownership structure was, because we want to make sure that that experience is evident through this new name that you're going by.
Okay, thank you.
Monica Mahia.
Hi, yes. With regards to the operating assistance pool, as I was filling in the 15-year cash flow, it looked like you guys want me to put that operating assistance to be flowing in 2 years. But it also looks like I could fill in the coaster column and same amount, but let it flow over 15 years, and then it creates 15 years of positive cash flow. What was the intent there in terms of why there's like 2 options there? Is it allowable that I could like turn it into kind of a coaster, make it run 15 years so I can get through 15 years of positive?
No, so the operations assistance money is intended to be used in the 2 years that we're awarding it for. So we're awarding $2,000 per unit per year for 2 years. It can't be like whatever $2,000 divided by 15 is for a single unit, if that's what you're asking. We want to see it spent in the first 2.
Can it just fund an operating reserve, which then I use over 15 years?
Sure.
Thanks.
Casey Keys.
Yeah, sorry, I was taking notes. Um, we are a for-profit developer, but we have a fiscal sponsor for our community-based work. So can the sponsor be our applicant here?
For which program?
Oh, I'm sorry, ULA alt, new construction.
Yeah, so you're asking if the when you say sponsor, what do you, can you help me understand what you mean?
Yeah, they're a nonprofit. They're a not-for-profit entity, and we have a relationship with them for our community-based components of our projects.
And so will they be the ones that are actually doing the development and the
No,
construction?
we're the sponsor, but they would be the applicant, because I think it has to be a not-for-profit organization.
Yeah, so the applicant and then also the entity that's actually receiving the funds has to be the nonprofit.
Yep.
So if so I can't, I want to be very careful about this one because the ULA guidelines and the ULA ordinance are very clear that
Okay.
the recipient of the alt model new construction funds, and this is, I think, at the very beginning of the NOFA on page 4, need to either be nonprofit, CLT, a co-op, housing co-op, a public entity, an LP, or here an LLC. So that the nonprofit that you're talking about needs to be the one, like they need to be the only kind of entity that's doing the work.
Could you, where can I find those guidelines? I think that'll just be helpful to reread.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
understand the parameters.
They're on our website. I don't have access to post in the chat right now, but Adam, my colleague, if you can please send the ULA guidelines and put them in the chat, and then also the ordinance, that would be great.
Thank you.
And the ordinance is you know, a little bit more clunky, but it may be worth a read just so you can understand like what the voters approved and all
I
of that.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I know you
And
had
then
a
on our
question.
other question, I'm just waiting for an answer.
Yeah, so we have a meeting with our city attorney on Friday to discuss
Okay.
that. So
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Some shifting around of people's screens has happened, so I apologize if I go out of order. But I'm seeing JC Cruz. You weren't here in the beginning where people introduced themselves, but that's okay. I'm calling on you to have you ask your question. So if you have your question ready, you're up.
I actually don't have it ready, but if you call me back, I'll have a question.
Okay.
He's with ELAC. JC and Jose Flores are with ELAC, so I'll just ask all the questions for ELAC.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I didn't know.
No, if we could bounce it to Monica, she could ask a question right now.
I already had my turn.
Yeah, she had her
Oh,
turn. Sorry.
got it.
Okay. So Trust South LA, you already had your question with Alex. Will Sager, you're up.
Yeah, so I've got 2 questions, but I'll stick to the one with the parliamentary rules. We've seen a discrepancy on how the relocation assessments have been treated between the guidelines, the Q&As, and the portal. When we go and put into the portal that there will not be even any temporary relocation, it just grays out the box where we put in an assessment. I'm hoping to get a little guidance on whether the relocation assessment is actually, if we got just flat dirt, no tenants, we're not relocating anyone, what is the relocation assessment required, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly if did you already get an answer to this from a Q&A or from like written out?
No, I posted the question to you, NOFA, yesterday.
Okay. So what we've been telling people is that assessments are required at this point, regardless of whether or not there is a tenant there, because what the assessment will say is there's no tenant here, you don't have to do a relocation plan. Recognizing that's burdensome, I'm willing to take that back. Like if you already submitted it, it's going to come up in conversation with our directors on Friday. But what I'm willing to do is talk to our team and ask if we can, if there's a way we can toggle on a factor on the UNOFA portal that says, you know, there's nobody, you know, I think we have a question on there that's like, are there existing structures on the property, right?
Yeah.
And if the answer is no, then obviously relocation would not be required. But the way it is now is we require an assessment to tell us that relocation isn't required. And what you're asking is, can we eliminate the requirement to even provide an assessment? Am I understanding you correctly?
Correct.
Okay, so the answer for now is that a relocation assessment is required, even if it's a vacant piece of land. I'm understanding that's burdensome. I will bring that back to our leadership and we can discuss that as we do on Fridays. And if you already asked the question via the portal, it will come up, but I'll let them know that I talked about this with you in the meeting or in the office hours.
I have a very brief follow-up to that, which
Okay.
is if we do have to do the relocation assessment, does it have to be a third-party relocation consultant that goes out and assesses? Yeah, okay.
But again, we're open to feedback. So if that's unreasonable and you have reasons, I mean, whatever. So send that our way. I'm going to go on to the next person. Stephen Clark.
For the ULA alt new construction model, we're going to present a structure where the CLT owns the land and we're going to ground lease it back from them, but we don't currently own the land. So what's the best way to document that? Like an option to lease or just describe the structure?
Oh, sorry, Will, did you want to add something?
Oh, no,
No.
I just got to my...
Okay. So I'm sorry, Stephen. Can you repeat that back to me one more time?
Yeah, we're going to try under the ULA alt new construction model.
Yeah, got it.
And we need to involve a CLT to get priority.
Yep.
And we're going to do that by having the CLT own the land, and the partnership will enter into a ground lease with the CLT. But the current situation is we don't own the land. We have site control, but we don't own the land today. So we can't enter into a ground lease today. So do we just describe that structure or provide documentation in the form of an option to lease?
Definitely you will want to describe the structure. And if you have a draft option to lease available at the time of application, you may consider attaching that as an additional attachment to the upload section, just so that we can get a sense of what your plan is. If you're able to do what I would recommend.
Okay, thank you.
And I don't want to guarantee the points here in this conversation, but I think being able to have all of the information in front of the scorer is going to be really critical.
Thank you.
Okay. Caroline.
I had a question around demonstrating architect experience. We're working with an architect who has over 20 years of experience. However, the list of LAHD projects that they've worked on was from a different firm, and where they are not listed as the architect of record. However, they were the project director or the lead architect. And so in this instance, would we still be allowed to use this architect if they provided, I guess, maybe certification from their previous firm that clarifies their role in the projects that we list in the experience chart?
Yeah, I remember seeing your question come in and flagging it for our technical services team who has not gotten back to me yet. So I apologize. I can't say yes or no, but what I would recommend is the lead architect having what you just described, which is like a letter or a description of their role in the projects that they previously worked on with LAHD. I personally don't know the difference between the lead architect and the architect of record. So that's why I can't answer your question in black and white, but I will flag that again for our technical services team, and in your application, I would recommend adding that explanation.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Jose Flores?
Yeah, I'm part of ELAC, so
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No, you're good. Thank you.
Nina Suarez?
Hi, yes, I'm Nina Suarez. I'm with Dayton Heights Cooperative, and I just wanted to introduce myself and see we're a small cooperative in East Hollywood, and just wanted to see if any of the ULA money we can apply for, because we're a very tiny cooperative, about like 29 units. So
Yeah. First of all, thank you for joining. I know it feels like a lot and probably overwhelming for you. Feel free to come to as many of these as you'd like. If you click on the link in the chat, the first one that was posted at 3:56, can you see that link?
yes.
Click on that. Flip through the NOFA regs. I know it's a 70-page document, which is kind of long, but on page 4, there's a table called Summary of Term Sheets. And if you look at the first line in that table, it says eligible applicants on the left, and then at the top it names all of the different programs. And if you're a housing cooperative, I mean, you're eligible for most of the programs, particularly the ULA programs: acquisition, rehab, alt models, preservation, new construction, and operating assistance. So, and as well as ULA multifamily. So that's a good place to start. The term sheets are a really great resource to learn about program specific, and those are available also on the website.
So Hannah, we're only seeing a post from 413, not from 346.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm only seeing 413 as well. I
Yeah.
don't have the first one
So
as
maybe you
well.
need to.
Yeah, Adam, can you repost that, please? There you go.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Appreciate you flagging it for me. So that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Where it says uh read regulations, the first button at the very top. That's where you want to start. And I'm happy to talk you through, Nina, any questions you might have. I know it's pretty overwhelming, but
I see page 4. I definitely just need to go through this and see which we can apply for. Thank you.
yeah. Okay, back to the top. People's orders have shifted around. I apologize. Alex Lee, you're lucky. You're in my left-hand corner.
Thank you. I also just want to add, never mind. So I guess the question is, so for the buy right process for scoring, have y'all connected with DCP in terms of how to, okay, could you speak
So
on that, please?
yeah, so we actually are going to be publishing. I'm meeting with Department of City Planning tomorrow, as well as Department of Building and Safety, because we have had a lot of questions about what are the exact documents that everybody is supposed to be submitting to show site ownership and entitlement readiness. So right now, what I can tell you is that we, sorry, what we're looking for sure are letters of determination and or letters of compliance from the Department of City Planning. However, that list may be expanded. What we're going to do, list of documents that are acceptable on our website. We're going to send an e-blast out about it, hoping to have that done on Friday. But for now, compliance and determination.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Monica.
okay, yeah. I just, by the way, never mind.
Okay. Monica.
All right. For the not for the program, it's called the Alternative Models Preservation. And I have an affordable housing project that has a short-term loan on it, a 10-year loan. And I need to figure out how to refinance it because there's not enough rents to just refinance it. So I'm wondering if ULA can help me refinance it. And if so, it looks like new loans from ULA are supposed to be 60-year amortizing loans. So if I do this, I need to show that I can get it paid. The ULA replacement would be pay offable in 60 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Your colleague is next, JC. Not your colleague. Sorry. JC Cruz?
I'm with Monica. I'm also with ELAC.
I'm just doing all the questions. I mean, I can double up, but I thought we'd just do one per org.
Okay,
I
yes,
wasn't sure.
one per org. Thank you. Okay,
Mhm.
Casey. Casey Keys.
I'm good. I'm just
Oh.
listening.
Okay, Matt Mason.
Okay, going back to the relocation assessment, relocation project summary assessment. Our relocation consultant, so this is the alt models preservation. So this is an existing building, fully tenanted, fully leased up. So there would be some temporary relocation during renovation. Our relo consultant has asked us if, as part of this assessment, they would have to conduct resident interviews, which seems like maybe something that would happen at a later stage, but we just wanted to confirm that before we either spent the additional funds necessary to do that extra step for the relocation assessment, or missed that step.
That's a detail I don't know the answer to. Let me just repeat this back so my colleague can capture this so we can answer it for you. So the question was, does the relocation consultant need to
Got it. We're good.
You got
I'm
it?
highlighting, copying, and pasting. It's working great.
Okay, great.
Thank you both.
Sorry, Matt. I don't know enough about relocation assessments and plans to answer that, but we'll get back to you. Okay. Layla is with Casey. You guys already, unless Layla, you have any specific questions.
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Trust South LA.
Hi, I do have a question. We are applying with a partner that's revenue source is small enough to not require an audit. And so I'm wondering, our tax filings enough to kind of prove that threshold? And then can we use 21 through 23 audits to meet that threshold?
I think I saw this question come in and you asked it already, right?
I did. I can wait till you post, but I just thought I'd throw it out.
No, I appreciate you asking it here. The reason, if you don't see us answering the question, it's because honestly, we haven't been able to get to it, or we haven't come to an agreement internally on what is going to be acceptable. So I'll make sure that this question, Adam, if you can put just a star by this or another highlight to make sure that we answer the question that she's asking. Are you partnering with this smaller organization, Sua?
We're applying for the alt models preservation, and we can provide the 21 through 23 audits. And our partner, they don't do audits. They did up to 2022 or 23, but then we're not meeting the threshold that would require an audit per federal guidelines.
Yeah, so we do. Well, for an organization like yours that does have audits, we are going to be asking for the latest audit. Mm-hmm. So the up to 23 one would not be sufficient.
Okay.
But Casey is raising her hand.
Yeah, if we're a new entity that wouldn't have audited financials going back because it's a new entity, how does that play in?
Yeah, this was a question that similar to what Alex was asking. We did post an answer. Okay. I can't remember which question set.
I'll read it.
Take a look. If you don't find your answer, come back to us.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to move on if that's okay.
Where can we find those last Q&As?
Yeah, so if you go on the website again, that's the link that was posted at 4:23 p.m. You're there. I can't share my screen, but at the very bottom, there's a box that says right above contact information that says your questions answered with a little microphone and a Q&A. And then there's Q&A from, 3 different Q&A forms from different dates. And you can click on any one of those and you can find answers to questions that have already been asked. And we're trying to post those every week on Thursday. Last week was a little bit funky, but we should have another posting happening this week. Okay. So next up is Will Sager again.
Hi. So this might fall under the suggestion box thing because I'm pretty sure the answer I'm going to get back is not the answer I want. For site efficiency, I believe one of the Q&A said that it's an all or nothing for building above the base zoning density allowed. We have a project on a site that is zoned incredibly dense, way denser than we would be able to actually get funded. Say, this thing could go up to like 20 stories, 1,000 units. So I was wondering what considerations LHD might have for already incentivizingly zoned properties.
That's a complicated question. I think what I'm hearing you say is like there are situations that our guidelines have not accounted for, which is definitely true. And what I'm also hearing is that maybe it shouldn't be all or nothing, and you're seeking incremental scoring. Is that accurate?
Well, yes and no. I mean, for this particular case, we're asking for, consideration of what can be built rather than what is allowed to be built. We're already going to, if there was a baseline of like, as long as you exceed 100 units per acre, it doesn't matter what the underlying zoning is, I'd be happy with that. And we're still building very dense, just not as much as they would allow us to.
Yeah. I think that this is something we should also talk about with planning because a lot of what we do in the realm of site control, site efficiency, and all of that has to do with what guidelines and what requirements planning has set out for us as part of building the city. So, we're taking their lead in terms of that. If you send that via email, I know it's annoying, but like we can take that back and I can bring it up in our meeting with planning tomorrow.
Email to you or just through the NOFA?
Through the question thing. I get those emails anyway, so
Oh.
I do see them and it's not going to nowhere.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Stephen Clark.
So on the REO schedule, do you want to see just the mandatory payment debt, or do you want to see all the debt related to a project, including residual receipt loans?
I believe, did you download the REO schedule?
I did.
Okay. I didn't realize it was not clear. I think honestly, I need to double check.
Okay.
However, my initial feeling is that more is better. Can you tell me, so you're talking about columns, I have it open right now. You're talking about columns V through AC, is that correct? Or maybe you don't have it open right now.
I do, yeah. V through AC, but it's also AG, which
A
is
through
debt
G.
service. Well, no, AG is debt service.
AG, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, because some of these projects, could have 4 or 5 sources, which is fine if you want to see all of that. I just didn't know.
yeah. I think the idea was that we did want to see all of that, but I'm realizing now that if you, for example, are putting your debt service from 5 sources and somebody else is only putting their debt service from 1 source, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So let me get back to you on that, and I'm going to actually make a note of this personally so that I can address this ASAP.
Thank you.
I'm going to sorry everyone, I need to write this down. So
Can I have a clarification on the Q&As? Can we ask that or no?
yeah, please. Sorry.
So, I believe on the Q&A set 3, the question was in regards to the audited financial statements, and I just need clarification. So, if let's say an organization, it doesn't meet the federal, like, let's say if they make under 2 million, they're not required by the federal government to go through audits. But it says here that if they don't provide any financial audits, they will be docked on their underwriting points. So you're saying that they can't get the full points, even though they're federally not complied to do audits.
Are you talking about the answer under section 7?
Yes.
Um,
And I think it's similar to the question that I have. This is exactly what I was bringing up earlier too. Thank you, Nina, for re-asking.
So we said sponsors that do not submit the 3 years of audited financials unless they're only applying for operations assistance funds will not receive full sponsor underwriting points if they fail to submit 3 years worth of audited financial statements.
So I read that as regardless if you are federally complied to provide audits, you will be docked. That's how I read it.
So the federal agency that has that compliance requirement, is that the IRS?
Yes, the IRS requires that you have audited statements after 2 million.
Right.
And if you're under that, you're not required to file audits.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
I see your point, and I don't have an answer for you, but I can definitely bring this back to the team for review.
Thank you.
I had one more question, Hannah, about the audit.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to make sure I capture some of these key things so that I personally can follow up.
And there's other state requirements. I know like California has, like if you have certain like federal funding, like after I think it's 750K, then you're required to do like audited statements, but I'm not sure if that has been updated. So I know there's some state requirements that trigger that as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, sorry. Somebody had a follow-up question about that.
I can take my turn when we're up.
Okay. We've kind of lost the order a little bit, but I am gonna try and go back to my upper right-hand corner, which again is Alex. Go
Hi.
ahead. Sorry.
So, no, you're good. So a part of the threshold items was to show the project ship ownership entity. If we are partnering with a different organization, does that entity have to be formed at the time of application, or can we show an intent and give just like an organizational chart of like our intent?
I think this question was also asked actually, maybe even by Stephen Clark,
Oh.
who's on this call. Stephen, didn't you ask that question? Sorry to put you on the spot.
I did. I'm not sure if it was actually answered yet.
Okay, gosh. Then it's on our radar. I just need to make sure it gets answered. So Alex, yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No. It's
Thank
okay.
you.
It's not your fault. It's our fault for not publishing the answer yet.
And Hannah, just an update, it's actually California law that triggers the audit, not IRS.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, so Alex and Stephen, I hear you on that question, and we'll prioritize it for our meeting this Friday, folks. Okay, Monica, you're up.
Great. So I have a project, one of those operating systems projects where I have negative cash. And one of our solutions is to create another unit. And I think we have some land ability to do that. But I don't know how to set up your spreadsheet with that. I don't know if I should, because your tab for income and the rents just has the existing ones. Do you want us to create a supplemental pro forma and somehow upload that?
No, I think that there's a section at the bottom of the operations assistance tab that says notes, or so do you see that?
Um, uh, on the summary tab, there's a summary tab. Not that one. Let me get over to the right. Hang on a second. There's a summary tab.
It should be.
Yeah, there's a place that says notes at the bottom of the summary tab.
Yeah, so why don't you just put in the notes like we're suggesting, like, a part of our plan is to include a new unit. This new unit is expected to generate X amount of income. It should that if you're able to do it in words in that section, that's where I would do it. I don't want to have you creating a full new pro forma at this point.
Okay.
I mean, that seems a little bit excessive. Is there a way you can add like a row to the pro forma, or does it disallow that?
Has to flow into the existing
Right,
condition.
the summary.
Yeah, so that might be the solution, to just put it in the notes and explain the expected income.
Yeah, let's make that the problem solving process for right now. I will circle back with you regarding whether or not that's not going to work. If that doesn't work, you'll hear from me.
Okay, Tim, I'll put the question on your email list.
Okay, but tentatively it should be it should be fine to do that, to add it in the
Yeah.
notes section.
And may I add to Monica's question?
Yeah.
Or maybe just make a suggestion. Since we know how much the rent's gonna be, is it up? Can we explain that in the summary and maybe add it in the operating subsidy reserve? And I think that in itself will kind of give the will spread out the math through the next 15 years.
I think if you're adding a new, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. If you're adding a new unit as part of your stabilization plan, since that's not one of those 3 pathways that are required, we would need to see, all the things that come along with building a new unit, right? Like, do you have plans? Do you have money? Do you have an architect? Do you have entitlements? Like, it's kind of this maybe an interesting way to secure the operations assistance funding, because you're almost going to have to submit a lot of the same documentation you would for like a new construction project, right? I mean, not all of the documents, but since you already have site control and whatnot, but we would need to see like actual proof that you're going to put that new unit, you're going to be building that new unit.
So is there like an upload location where I could upload like a?
You can upload additional documents at the end, I believe, of the document upload section. Actually, I have some of my NOFA people on here. AJ or Pratik, can you confirm that there's a section where people can upload miscellaneous documents? Pratik or AJ, I see you are on here.
Pratik, can you please respond there? I think we can do.
Yeah, let me check. 1 minute, please.
Okay, so they will check, but there's a miscellaneous upload section at the end. I would still put it in your notes though if you're going to be uploading that. Okay. We have about 15 minutes left. Does anyone have a question and they haven't been called on yet?
I have a question.
Okay, let's do hand raising. See, this is why I don't go out of order. But go ahead, Caroline.
Hi. So I emailed this question, but it hasn't been responded yet. This is in regards to the EAP election, and so I've done projects with EA new construction where the checklist does say, for certain features, like roll-in showers, only 50% of the mobility units need to have roll-in showers. But for rehab, there is no specificity in that. So are we to assume that all features in the EAP checklist under rehab apply to all of the accessible units and not just some?
I don't know the answer to that question. I think we flagged that for our ACHP team. And I don't want to misspeak on their behalf because it's such a serious matter for us. So I know that our ACHP director has all the questions related to ACHP that we've received, and he's going through and answering them with staff. And I will just follow up with him right now and let him know that this was asked again.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Um, hang on, everyone. Okay. All right. I know, Monica, you were raising your hand. Why don't we go to you first, and then as you're asking that question, if anybody else has questions, you can raise your hand for the last bit here. Monica.
So for the operating again, I have some projects that I'm really struggling to get them to be positive for 15 years. And sort of, is that really a requirement, or is it more like something that's, rated? And also, what if I can show a history of very, very low vacancy loss? Can I change the vacancy loss down to 2% based on historic performance?
So to the second question, if the vacancy loss percentage, whatever it is in the pro forma, it has to remain. So no, sorry. We're really interested in seeing which pathway, which exit strategy and stabilization plan that you as an applicant submit to us. The expectation is that the project will stabilize over the 15 years. So it's not like you won't be considered, but we are going to be looking for projects to be able to stabilize for at least 15 years with this operations assistance money. Okay. Anybody else? Steven, I see you've gone off mute.
Yeah, I had another question, again for the ULA alt new construction. On a prior call, there was going to be a formula released for the points for not using the entire 80% loan to cost. I don't know if I missed that, if it's been released yet.
No, it hasn't been released yet. You're talking about the partial point scoring methodology that my
Yes.
colleague and I are working on. And I was reviewing that right before this call. We are hoping to publish that alongside the planning DBS document this week.
Great.
I'll send
Thank
out
you.
an email when it does go on the website.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Any other questions? Monica.
Yeah, one more. For new construction projects, like you just have the land, there's nothing being demolished because it's land. Do we have to submit an RUD?
Replacement unit determination? I don't think so. I think we also answered this in one of the Q&As. It may have been yeah. So take a look, but the answer is I don't think so. I don't know for sure, but look there, and if you're not finding it, let me know. Any other questions?
I can respond to the question regarding the summary, if you want me to.
Which one, AJ?
Somebody asked about like miscellaneous document unloading thing, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that one's, I think I'm looking at the pool source family application. If you go to supporting documents, the last one would be like miscellaneous document unload. So you
And
can
so
use, yeah.
that applies. Thank you, AJ. So the answer to your question, Monica, yes. So for all, it's visible in all 7 program applications. If you go to the very end, you'll see miscellaneous documents, and that's where you can upload. You can note. What I would do is put a note in the pro forma that you upload in the notes section and say, I've uploaded a document in the miscellaneous document section that shows the cash flow with this new unit, or all the proof that you're building a new unit.
Thank you.
Wow. If there are no more questions, this will be the first office hours I end before 5. I know
Thank you.
I know I
Thank
owe you
you.
all a lot of follow-up, but
Mhm.
appreciate you, and we're gonna continue to post as many answers as quickly as we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.